Our first guest is the CEO and founder of Sustainable Snacks, and her mission is to promote public health through better snacking. And she does that by offering gluten-free, soy-free, and vegan snacks with no refined sugar. Please welcome to the show, Rebecca Scott. Thank you, Rebecca, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to see you, Em.
It's great to see you. You and I just met for the first time a few days ago. We'll get to that in a little bit.
In real life.
Yeah, right?
We
in
met
IRL.
on Instagram
Yeah.
before that.
Instagram, we're like, I slid into your DMs,
Yeah.
and now we're here on the show. I guess that's how it works.
Yeah.
So we have a lot to talk about. Like I mentioned, we just met over the weekend, and I was interested in your company right here, Sustainable Snacks. We have a mutual friend in Omar Canales who was actually on my first show. He's from Seis Vecinos, and he had told me about you, and he was like, you have to get her on the show. She's doing some really wonderful things here in the Bronx. So can you please tell us about Sustainable Snacks?
Yeah, of course. So Sustainable Snacks is committed to promoting public health through better snacking. That's my background. Americans now snack between 4 and 6 times each day, and flavor is the #1 driver when grabbing a snack on the go. So Sustainable Snacks is committed to righting the disassociation between flavor and nutrition. We develop snacks that are delicious. They have really bold flavor profiles, but are also made from ingredients that are doing something good for your health.
Can you talk to me a little bit about the ingredients that are actually involved here?
Yeah, so again, our goal is to build Sustainable Snacks into an umbrella company with many different nutrient-dense, delicious products underneath that umbrella. We've launched with our flagship line, which we call Chocolate Superfood Snacks. They have berries, nuts, spices, and a maple syrup-infused dark chocolate.
Right here.
Yeah, so this one has blueberries and pecans with nutmeg, cranberries and walnuts with cinnamon, cherries, almonds, and cayenne on the end, and then they're bound with a maple syrup-infused dark chocolate. It's 80% cocoa content with grade A maple syrup. It's literally our secret sauce. We're the first to bring this style of chocolate to market. We use the whole maple syrup, which makes us low glycemic and a rich source of antioxidants, and also a super clean, bold flavor profile.
That's awesome. So I'm assuming you were definitely a chocolate lover growing up?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, there are so many therapeutic benefits attached to chocolate if you choose the right one. So if you choose chocolate that's 70% above and has no dairy, because if you add dairy to chocolate, your body can absorb the therapeutic properties. So yeah, what we've used here is the really, really good stuff. It tastes delicious, but it's also health supporting.
That's what I used to tell my mom when I wanted her to buy me chocolate. I was like, but it has like so many health benefits.
Yeah.
So like, why not buy me all the
Yeah,
chocolate?
if it's an Oreo, it's not doing
Oh no, I
something
was
good
picking
for
like
your
the
health.
wrong chocolate, but I was still
Yeah.
like, it's healthy. I'm getting something out of it. And it's also 100% plant-based, right? Like it says so on top here. You have paleo, vegan, gluten-free, soy-free, as I mentioned before in the intro. Is there a specific reason why you needed to make sure that these things right here were highlighted?
Yeah, we want to make our products as accessible as possible, and so we do call out these different diets and highlight that the product is plant-based. That's really the kind of essence of our brand, is plant-based. We promote more plants than anything, not specifically a vegan diet, but the goal is to get everyone to eat more health-supporting plant-based foods, and so we're committed to developing snacks that are exclusively plant-based, so people have more delicious options.
And so can you tell me when you started your journey with Sustainable Snacks? When did this come about?
So formally 2 years ago, there was definitely some testing that happened prior to that. I started testing out the concept at pop-up markets and food festivals around the city, but we formally launched at a big trade show 2 years ago at Expo East in September of 2017.
2017. And so that reaction from that expo was obviously positive, and that pushed you forward to continue with Sustainable Snacks.
Absolutely. The response has always been super positive to our flagship product line and branding. It's definitely been a learning curve. It's my first venture into the food industry, and so just because you have a delicious tasting food product doesn't necessarily mean you can move full speed ahead.
Right.
So I've really had to learn the ropes of the industry, and I've benefited a lot by a lot of community business programming, like the Business Outreach Center, WELF, which is the Women's Entrepreneur Entrepreneurship Action Loan Fund. I've really tried to arm myself with the knowledge and resources to grow sustainable snacks into the thoughtful superfood powerhouse I know it can become.
So, are you originally from the Bronx? Are you a Bronx
Not
girl?
originally. From a military family, moved around a lot, settled here in 2012.
Okay, so you've been a Bronx resident since, well, welcome to the Bronx.
Thank you.
So before you started Sustainable Snacks, what were you doing exactly? Because for me, it's like that's the most interesting thing about a lot of these people that I've met in the food industry, that they're not necessarily, they haven't been there from the get-go. It wasn't maybe the first thing that they started to do career-wise, and then they just sort of end there. So what were you doing before Sustainable Snacks?
Yeah, I can say I don't have a literal background in the food industry, but I have a relevant background. So I was working for public health nutrition programs here in the Bronx and Upper Manhattan, where I supported clients on improving their health outcomes by incorporating more whole plant-based foods into their diets. It was a really empowering experience because clients reversed prediabetes diagnoses, they went off hypertension medication, they reversed many different chronic illnesses. That's also my personal experience. I have lupus and no longer take medication after converting to a plant-based diet, so I've personally and professionally witnessed the healing power of plant-based foods.
Yeah, I've mentioned this so many times. I'm sure my producer's eyes are rolling. She's like, yes, Em, we know you went to a vegan thing for like 2 months. But I did really feel like the difference, 100%. And there were moments when I was like, maybe I should like really kind of stick to this. But then I saw a picture of steak and I said, never mind. I'm just going to go back to my old ways. But it does, there's no denying the benefits
Yeah,
of.
well, I believe that food is more than nutrition. It's community, it's culture. And so if you focus on plants but still indulge in the other foods that you really enjoy, it's all about balance.
Yes, for sure. Do you have a lot of friends who also have like a vegan plant-based diet? Do you find it easy to go out with friends and just, eat, or is it something that's discussed before?
Yeah, so in the industry, I have a lot of friends who are founders of plant-based companies, but in my tight friend group, I'm the only plant-based person.
Right.
So it is a challenge, but I always try to make my own dishes when we're getting together, and there are more and more options on menus.
So what kind of dishes do you prepare at home?
Just my mantra is keep it simple, especially since starting a business, it's really hard for me to find time to prepare things as I've traditionally liked to. I'm a member of a CSA, which is a great way to get budget organic produce. Right now, my approach is kind of throw seasonal veggies in the bowl and add some hummus and maybe some quinoa.
And then sort of like just go from there.
Yeah, but working in public health, a lot of times I would prepare traditional foods in healthier ways. So herbs and spices are a great way to add flavor, add therapeutic value, and really enjoy a healthy version of your traditional favorites.
So when we return, I want to talk about, because you mentioned, you have to make your own dishes at home, and sometimes with your business, it could be, you don't have enough time sometimes to do that. I do want to talk about that coming back, because I feel like when you have your own business, how do you manage your life and then, your business life, and how that sort of impacts your every day-to-day, So we'll come back, guys. We're going to take a quick break. Foodie Down Bronx will be right back. Welcome back to Foodie Down Bronx. I'm your host, Em, the Hungry Dominican. Just last week, I had the pleasure of heading over to Fordham Plaza for a little taste of the Bronx. Let's take a look. Hola, guys. We are here at Fordham Plaza at Taste of the Bronx. Let's go check it out. Ready? Just go. Hi, guys. Oh, hi. Hello. Hi, I'm Em reporting live to tape from Taste of the Bronx here in Fordham Plaza. And with me I have Paul, Anthony, and Rebecca of Taste of the Bronx. Hi guys.
How you doing, Em?
Welcome to my segment.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here.
Welcome to my segment.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome to my segment.
Great to be here.
Thank you guys. Okay, so guys, can you tell me a little bit about Taste of the Bronx?
Yeah, Taste of the Bronx is a quarterly subscription box that features craft goods from all great Bronx artisanal folks. You know, from food items to actual just goods itself. Everything's meant to be a platform to further just Bronx entrepreneurs' business platform overall.
Anthony, I want to ask you the same question, but I feel like Paul already told me everything, so we're just going to go to Rebecca. Rebecca, could you tell me a little bit about what's in here?
Sure. So this is our summer-themed subscription box. We have a spicy cherry and almond sustainable snack, a postcard designed by From the Bronx, a natural citronella candle by Bamboo Candles and Soaps, a Taste of the Bronx apron for all of your barbecuing needs, and a soap by Eternile with homegrown herbs right here in the Bronx, and a From the Bronx pride pin.
I love that.
A hot sauce by Five Island Blend. So we decided that we knew how to get our stuff out there, but there are a lot of small businesses that focus so much on the day-to-day, they struggle on the marketing aspect and getting the word out about what they're doing. And so we thought, what better thing to do than put together a market and a subscription box for these entrepreneurs to come and meet Bronxites where they're at.
Tell me, how can people get their hands on this box right here?
You can get your hands on the Taste of the Bronx box by visiting us at one of our monthly pop-up shops. To find the locations and the dates, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Taste of the Bronx. You can also visit our website, tasteofthebronx.com, for a calendar. If you do not live in the Bronx and you want to get this box delivered to your house, and trust me, you do, go to tasteofthebronx.com and sign up for a year subscription.
Hey guys, so if you had to describe the actual taste of the Bronx, what does the Bronx taste like?
Proud.
In the summer, slightly salty.
Good answer.
I would say spicy.
I like it. Thank you guys so much. Guys, this is my first tape segment, and I'm really excited. So I'm going to close this segment right now by pointing to myself back in studio. You go, Em. Great job, Em. Looking good, buddy. Can someone say Pulitzer, or is it too soon? I don't know. Also, how come I sound like Brick Tamlin in that clip from Anchorman? Like, you should have told me I was yelling so much. I'm yelling so much, I feel like I woke up everyone's baby. Anyway, Rebecca and I ran back to the studio. Rebecca's a co-founder of Taste of the Bronx. So that's also very cool to know, the fact that you are the co-founder of Taste of the Bronx. Can you tell me about your partnership with Paul and Anthony?
Yeah, of course. You know, Sustainable Snacks is committed to scaling here in the Bronx and really empowering other Bronx brands. It's been very meaningful for me to educate consumers on the fact that we're based here in the borough. And so I teamed up with Paul and Anthony, who are other super successful Bronx business owners.
With great hair.
I'm humbled with great hair. I'm humbled to be able to work with them on this, but we thought it would be amazing to team up and really raise awareness to Bronx brands. And so it's been a particularly meaningful venture. It's all about community empowerment.
That's very awesome. So I'm going to have a little bit of your snacks here because I had told you as much when we met last week that this right here, spicy cherry and almonds with sea salt, is my favorite. This is super delicious. I mean, they're all delicious, don't get me wrong, but this right here, amazing. So before we went to the break, I had mentioned to you that I wanted to talk to you about how you sort of balance your life and business. And you had mentioned something to me at Taste of the Bronx about something about, you said it was called anti-hustle, this idea that because you're so busy and your business takes up so much of your life that there's sort of pushback from certain people when it comes to the idea of you constantly being on the go. How do you feel about that? And how is it running a business pretty much on your own?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I did mention there's a lot of discourse surrounding this notion of hustling right now, and there is, in fact, a lot of pushback. Generally, when I'm in front of a camera or on social media, I'm showing a very romantic view of the businesses I run, and don't get me wrong, they're so meaningful, but it is a lot of hard work. And I think at this stage, I am trying to evaluate a little bit more about how I can have more of a balance. But to be honest, I put all of my time into my businesses right now.
I'm sorry, I just got
No,
caught up
it's
in my
okay.
emotion. This is really good stuff, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Give me one more second here.
Yeah, sure.
I got a good chunk right here, and I got to go for it. This is so good.
That one's a great combination of many different flavors. So it's a little tart, spicy, salty,
I like the spiciness.
sweet, and bitter from the dark chocolate.
I love the spiciness. I think that's that little kick that I'm getting a ton of right now. It's very,
Put
very
some
good.
pep in your stuff.
It's very, very good. Clearly, this is like an alternative to unhealthy snacks. I can say that undoubtedly for me, I've had some pretty bad like eating habits growing up, and I didn't have a great relationship with food because I just felt like I just needed it just to have it in my system and not really paying attention to what sort of came about with the food. It's just like I want to eat it, give it to me, whatever. Did you by any chance maybe have the same type of relationship? Were you always good with your food habits growing up? Were you always, I mean, even though, entering the food world maybe not the thing that you were aiming to go into, but did you always have interest in food growing up, or is it just sort of something that came later in life?
Yeah, I've always had an interest. I'm actually the oldest of 7 and grew up preparing a lot of the meals for my family. So developing recipes and tasty meals is something that I've literally done since a very young age. Definitely my understanding of the science behind food and the therapeutic benefits is something that evolved with time. As I mentioned with lupus, I was diagnosed in college, and there was literally a time where I couldn't get out of bed. My body was so stiff and inflamed, and I was prescribed all different steroids and pharmaceuticals that had really negative ramifications on my gut health and quality of life. And so I knew there had to be a better way. And that's when I really, studied my master's and moved into plant-based and learned that food truly is fuel.
Absolutely.
But it should also taste delicious. You don't have to
Like
compromise.
spicy cherry and almonds with sea
exactly.
salt. Are there any places in the Bronx that you like to visit? Any restaurants specifically that you like to go to?
Yeah, I feel like I should shout out Seis Vecinos.
Absolutely. That was a trick question.
yeah.
That's the only answer
The
that you should
only
be.
answer.
It's the only
yeah.
answer to that question.
And while I'm at it, the Bronx Beer Hall.
Yes.
I love Suyo Gastrofusion as well.
Awesome spot. For
I
sure.
think they're doing a really great job of putting a spin on traditional foods and celebrating the Bronx in a really unique way.
Yes, for sure. They have a great staff too. Great staff there. Chef Andy, of course. Have a beautiful entranceway, beautiful bar area. It's a great spot. Yeah, for sure. So Bronx Beer Hall, which you can kind of say why you like Bronx Beer Hall. That's Paul and Anthony.
can
Says
disclose
it.
that,
You
yeah.
can disclose the information as to why.
Yeah, I'm business partners with the owners.
That is a great spot, though. I've had many wonderful moments there that I can't really remember because beer was involved, but it was fun.
Those are the best moments.
Can you tell me a little bit about Taste of the Bronx? For those who don't know, it's actually you can get a monthly box shipped to your home, and we showed it in the clip there. Can you tell me a little bit more about how people can get their hands on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one arm of the business. There are a few arms to it, but the subscription box is delivered to your doorstep once a quarter. Each box has a different theme and celebrates a variety of different Bronx brands. So as you saw in the video, we're currently vending our summer box, which has great paraphernalia for barbecuing and being outdoors. We're gearing up for a fall box. You can subscribe at tasteofthebronx.com. And also we sell them at our monthly pop-up markets.
So where do you have the monthly pop-up markets? Because the Fordham Plaza one, I was told, was the first time you guys had it in a public space. Is that correct?
Yeah, so as I mentioned just now, our goal at Taste of the Bronx is really to celebrate the community. So that means the brands that are based here, but also different institutions and spaces. So we just had a pop-up at Fordham Plaza, but we actually move every month. And so
Okay.
we partner with different institutions that align with our values. So we had an event at Wedco. We have had an event at the Arthur Avenue Retail Market. Next month we'll be somewhere else. So a great way to stay on top of our market schedule is to follow us on Instagram. And we
Okay.
also have the dates and locations on the website.
Do you guys plan the boxes far in advance, or is it sort of like maybe just instinctively, like you know what to put into it for a certain month, or do you guys have like the whole year planned out already?
Well, through the market format, we've had the chance to work with a large number of different Bronx brands, which is great because it means we have an assortment of goods that we can source. And so this is a new venture, and the partners on Taste of the Bronx all have other businesses. So we're
Right.
still learning how to plan and schedule these
Right.
things in advance. But, you know, right now it's a few weeks to a month out. And again, since we've started the markets as well, we know a lot of Bronx brands. And so as we think about the season and the quarter and what makes sense, we have a great list
Awesome.
of people we can source products from.
Awesome. Thank you, Rebecca. All right, guys, since I'm always telling you to grab a snack, why not make it a sustainable one, right? Visit sustainablesnacks.co and follow Susnacks on Instagram to find out more. Also, check out @Taste of the Bronx on Instagram and visit tasteofthebronx.com for more information. We're taking a quick break. Foodie Down Bronx will be right back.